Okay, guys, I'd like to welcome Terrence Ruffin to the UK. Hasn't been here since 2018. We finally got him in the studio, finally face-to-face, and you are on your Olympia All-Star Tour, Terrence.
Yeah, it's been great so far. Landed and went straight to work. We started with the FedEx Pro, and it was great. You know, the fans were awesome. We did a live training session, which was pretty cool. I forget his name, but we trained with the new pro here. And he laid me out for a bit after some legs.
Craig Morton.
Craig, thank you. And I really enjoyed the interview. Like the people, I've never gotten such like deep and thoughtful questions. You know, very, very cool.
Yeah. So obviously we're on day 3 now, so we're going to get a bit of content, do a bit of training today, and then tomorrow we're off to Strength Asylum. So because I mean you've been commenting on a lot of my posts from the tours. And you've been saying like, you know, I think this is a great idea that, you know, with the pros can actually get out and do tours and meet with the fans. I mean, so how often do you actually leave? Would you ever leave America?
I feel like, well, for the longest time, I traveled more than any pro. I think the only one that travels as much as me now is probably Urs. Urs does quite a bit. You know, I've been all over the world except Africa so far. Mm-hmm. Been to South America, Central America, Asia, Europe. Not Eastern Europe yet, but oh man, yeah, I've traveled way more than I did through bodybuilding than I did in the military. Yeah. Wow.
So obviously, I mean, congratulations for winning the last 2 shows, the Pittsburgh and New York Pro. Obviously, after your year off. Now, you didn't know that Tyler had said after Pittsburgh on one of his post-show breakdowns that yes, you know, he sees you as one of 2 or 3 or several that really has the potential to win the Olympia this year. I mean, going back to your year off, I mean, obviously it's working out great, but you know, what was the mindset behind taking that year off then?
The original mindset was, as much as I like Chris and I like Brianna, I knew that they were coming on their last year of competing, you know, and I would have loved to be there. Strategically, I knew that I was the only guy that really had room to grow in the division, and I knew it would make a lot more sense to forgo that Olympia, that 60, and then it's a documentary too. So I missed out on a lot of cool experiences that year, but I knew in the long term it would be more beneficial for me to sit out, make the progress I need to make to really, really battle for that top spot instead of battling out for like 3rd, 4th, 5th, you know, place. So I just kind of said, let me sit out, let me do the things I need to do to be at my best.
I think, I mean, I said this to you before. I think it was 2019, and I was at the Olympia, and I was watching you, and you came up by yourself, and I was like, wow, how could anyone beat that? Like, because you got the perfect, for me, bodybuilding and classic are different classes, and I think there's definite differences between them. So when you come out, and as soon as you lift your arms up, you know, that's basically kind of what the classic class was made for.
Yeah.
You know, the way that you tilt your hips, the way you pose, because obviously, and I think you are, I mean, literally the best poser on the planet. And I think, I don't think that's even up for discussion. I mean,
Logan might say something. Me and Logan chat a bit about it, but yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good bit. Now here comes the critique.
Yeah.
Now what it was, I remember thinking, oh, wow, okay, he's an absolute front runner, and you always were a front runner. And then when the whole lineup would come out, and you'd have guys like Brian and Bumstead, you wouldn't fade into the lineup, but you wouldn't stand out as much as I thought. You could see then, okay, he's got everything, but he just, next to those, he's lacking that little bit of size. So when I knew that you were taking the year off, I was like, that's smart.
Yeah.
But thing is now, so you said that you knew that Bumstead was taking, that it was going to be his last year. How did you know that?
I've heard him say it in interviews, like, I've heard him. Granted, like I've heard people say a lot of things in interviews, and they don't actually happen. But I mean, even Brian, this is his 2nd time leaving Classic, you know, so you never truly know. But I've heard Chris. He's a little bit more selective when he says things, you know. And he said he wanted to be done around 30. He said he wanted to win 6, and I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of culminates both those things together this year, you know.
Wow. Okay.
And even before he announced it, you know, I just so happened to see his friends at the press conference, and they told me, I mean, obviously this is way later, but they're like, yeah, Chris told us to come to this final one. And he's like, and I was like, oh, okay. Then yeah, I knew like for 100% certainly like 2 days before he announced it. But just based on the interviews, like I don't even watch a lot of Chris content. It just popped up on Instagram. I'm like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense.
So basically the reason I'm saying that is because now the throne is vacant.
Yeah.
You've taken your year off. I mean, I was seeing all the updates and I was so happy because I was like, he's come back and he's got that one little final piece of the puzzle that he needed. Because even all the updates, you could see you put on a lot of quality tissue. And now obviously Chris retiring, leaving it vacant. Because I mean, he was, I'm not saying no one's unbeatable, but like now, do you feel like
very far ahead of the curve for sure?
Do you feel like the stars are aligning now? Do you feel that you genuinely, because I think a lot of people are saying, I mean, myself included, I genuinely do think it's down to you in Summerfield this year.
I 100% believe I can win. I even when I was placing second to Chris, like I'm very honest with myself. In my personal opinion, I thought I could be Chris. During those years, I didn't think it was happening as quickly as it, like I didn't think I was going to beat him the 2 years I placed second. Did I think it was possible? Yeah. I thought I needed more time and, like you said, more size. So yeah, back then I was like, oh, I know I can do it. It's just not, this isn't the time. Now I 100% believe like, yeah, this is the time that I can win the Olympia for sure.
So 2023, was it Dubai your last show, 2023?
No, it was India after the Olympia. Like
okay.
I qualified for the 2024 Olympia. I didn't compete. Yeah.
What was the final thing that made you make that decision?
The final thing was I was having issues with my elbow. And I had a talk with, honest, in my personal opinion, in both 2022 and 2023, I wasn't at my best. And I placed sixth, I placed fifth, and obviously that's respectable. That's
in classic especially.
Obviously, but at the same time, when you placings matter not quite as much. Like I would rather bring a better physique. And knowing that I didn't bring my best, it just wasn't satisfying. And so I saw Tyler at the Texas Pro. I saw Steve, and I had a talk with him. I was like, hey, I've been having some elbow issues. I'm not sure if I'll be at my best at this show. And he's like, yo, if you're not going to be your best, don't show up. And I'm like, okay. And just living through that experience, like, especially in 2022 when I went from second to sixth, I know what not being at your best will do, especially when how close Classic is. Like
1% off, you can go from second to 10th.
100%. I mean, you've seen it with me dropping from going from ninth to second, from second to sixth. You've seen it with Wesley from outside the top five to beating the second place guy. It's all over the place, So it's really that close. And if I kind of believe it now. If you don't bring your best, you may not want to ruin your reputation.
So the elbow, was that obviously impeding your training?
Yeah. It was pretty heavily. It's still an issue, but it's gotten a lot better. I can work around it now. I can do what I need to do. Still not 100, but it's good enough. I don't think after competing so long and chatting with a lot of pros, every pro seems to have something going on at some point.
You train around it. You work around it.
Yeah.
You work around it. So how much the last show in India in 23 compared to, I know body weight's not, but it is an indicator of,
sure.
Of lean tissue because your condition's always consistent. So what was the difference in body weight?
So in India, I was 169. In New York, I was 181.
What? Wow. I thought it was like, wow.
Yeah. I was a little lighter at Pittsburgh, but New York, which, they said was my better look. Yeah, 181.
And how tall are you?
5'5".
12 pounds.
Yeah.
I remember when Lee Labrada from 1990 to 91 put on 4 pounds and it transformed his physique.
It's pretty wild. Like, I look
crazy.
at pictures, man, and I'm truly, truly shocked. Like, and it's just pretty wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So what was it? Obviously, because you command the stage. You're someone that clearly is comfortable being on stage. What was it like walking back on stage at Pittsburgh? I mean, what was it? Were you backstage? Were you just? What was going through your mind? Because I don't think had you done any guest posings in that time or nothing?
No, nothing. Yeah, I think I got maybe 1 or 2 offers, but I was like, no, I want to start on stage.
Yeah. The big reveal.
Yeah. For me, like, I try to do my best. Like, I don't like being hyped up or anything like that before I get on stage. I do my best to stay calm. So backstage, I listen to a lot of like calming music, or I'll listen to a book I mentioned at the interview the other day, The Confident Mind.
Oh, somebody asked me about that.
Yeah.
He says, no, somebody DM'd me yesterday, and he said, Giles, I've forgotten the name of the book. He said, can you ask Terrence and DM him back? So you just reminded me there.
Nice. So, yeah, on the way to the event, I was listening to that, or I'll listen to just something just very calm. And it was weird. So, like, it felt comfortable in a sense, but also still a little foreign at the same time. I didn't feel truly comfortable again until I did the New York. That's when I really, yeah, because I was posing and like I was hitting the poses, but like I don't feel like I quite nailed it until I did that second show. You know? Like, yeah.
Because was it you said it in the speech, and I think Steve Weinberg or something. Steve Weinberger said Terrence actually left the door a little bit open to potentially get beat by Josema. And then obviously you said, obviously turned up in New York and it was straight first, straight seconds. It was more, it was the same guy you're going up against. He's always consistent with conditioning, but you, I remember seeing the footage, I was thinking, is it just the lighting or is it just the Gilco, the sharper footage?
Yeah.
But you looked, I was like, it was around your torso and your chest. I could see like you really, really nailed it. So you knew that. Yeah,
even in the back. Yeah, so once they said to come in fuller, me and my coach Yassine, that I kind of knew like going into that next show that like, okay, yeah, we're probably going to get all first just based on their feedback. Because I'm like, okay, well, if that's what they want, we can easily accomplish that.
Yeah. And
once I actually saw photos, I'm like, okay, yeah, we did it. We did what they asked us to do, Yeah. Like you said, but Jose, I mean, he's consistent. Like he was consistent, and he did make changes to his posing too. I saw he changed his front double. Like,
did he?
Yeah. So he took I really liked him too. And it's weird because like I'm in this place now where I've been in classes since the start, so I am like somewhat of like a mentor to a lot of newer guys and like a figurehead. So like. But also, I'm a competitor and an athlete, so I struggle with like, should I give this guy advice or should I just keep my mouth shut? You know? So with Jose, I remember meeting him last year at the Olympia, and he's the nicest guy. So I told him a couple times, I gave him advice, and I'm like, hey, bro, like when you get here, you might want to bring your own food or make sure you shop organic because a lot of foreigners don't do well with American food, so I told him that.
Tell me about it.
I know, right? Or like I told him, hey man, if you're in New York, make sure you go pose with Steve. Ask to go pose with him, and then I had part of my mind was like, why are you telling him this? You're gonna be competing against him next week. You don't have to hurt him, but you don't have to help him either.
Like somebody was saying, this is the best conditioning we've got from Josema. This is the best conditioning ever seen. I mean, obviously there's a level of conditioning that a lot of people have achieved. And the thing is, your condition was insane as well.
Yeah.
Your glutes and your hams. I mean, like even 3-4 weeks out. Maybe I saw a video of you doing leg curls, and it was just like literally like an anatomy chart. Did you feel like? Do you feel like it took the shine off because you got this guy who is just like skinned alive,
Yeah, I mean, like people see his conditioning and like like you said, I'm definitely in shape. I'm in condition.
Yeah, you weren't out of shape, mate.
But when you sit next to him, it's tough, I would say like the top three, like you got him, you got Logan and Michael DeBoer. Those are the top guys, the standards for conditioning right now. But I just think with Jose's physique, his conditioning stands out a bit more, like he has certain lines in places other guys don't. Like body fat wise, they may be the same, but just the way he has details in his body, those deep separation, I think it kind of puts him above when you look at his conditioning,
And he was 6th place, and he 22 at the Olympia last year. Because I saw him last year. We saw him last year at the Empro, and he just blew me away. And I remember when he did the Open, and then I heard he was going Classic. I was like, no, he's the stupid decision. And then he went and won a few shows. And I was like, because I thought he's just got 4th in his Open debut. You're doing well, and you're like 22. Why not just stay as Open? But obviously it worked out.
Yeah. And I mean, he's young. He could still switch to Open. He's got plenty of time. So yeah.
So obviously now you've got your 2 wins. You're very happy about that. You're back in the game.
Yeah.
What's next for you now? Is it just all about the Olympia, or have you got other things in between?
I would have loved to do Dubai, but one, because again, like I think when you have shows showing up for Classic, putting up that big prize money, I think it's $100,000.
Big prize money.
You want to show that like it means something to the athletes, and you want to participate. But knowing my goal, the bigger goal is the Olympia, and knowing I need to do certain things to beat Mike, I was like, okay, let me not. Let me, what's it called? Delayed gratification. Yeah. I know like the 100K would be nice, but winning that Olympia is the ultimate goal, and it's life changing, So yeah, no more shows. Just hyping up the Olympia, the best I can. I'm excited to do some cool stuff for that. I think in Classic, especially with Chris, I remember the last year watching Chris do the press conference, and it was like the realest statement. And he said that you got Bob and all the guys asking the guys questions, and they're like, oh, I'm going to be Mr. Olympia, or I'm going to give Chris a run for his money, and blah, blah, blah. All the stuff you're supposed to say, the hype to show up. But Chris's response was like, I look into these guys' eyes, and I know they truly don't mean what they say.
Wow.
They don't believe it.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest with you, I 100% believe this. I was like, yeah, they don't. They didn't. They don't. And looking into this Olympia is cool because, one, I think everyone thinks they could beat everyone at this point because we all have beating each other. Personally, I'm a big fan of making stuff interesting, and I think for the longest time people have been scared to talk, scared to say anything, out of fear of being wrong. No one likes to be wrong, so I'm gonna do my best to make it interesting for everybody. I'm not gonna say anything rude, but I'm gonna poke jabs at people. I'm gonna have fun. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I've already done it a couple times. If you watch the post. The post-show speeches, yeah. Because most people just, oh, thanks to everybody, this is so nice, and I'm like, no, I'm like Urs, Ramon, Mike,
your
get ready for
mine.
school,
yeah. Your ass is mine. Yeah.
So I want to make it interesting, like respectful but interesting, yeah.
So I mean, I was at the 22 Olympia, and I think there was 61 qualified, and I think 58 turned up.
It's a lot.
And the thing is, now we were talking about it yesterday at the expo, talking about there's so many classic qualifiers, and you see some of these winners around Europe and all these different parts of the world, and you're like, holy, wow, this guy's good, this guy's good.
Yeah.
And you just think, where are these guys all coming from? I mean, what's your thoughts on the sheer volume of quality and quantity coming into classic? Does it make you, does it concern you, or?
I have a couple of thoughts. I mean, like, one, I do think like the quality is very, very high. I mean, we see it too. I mean, you can be just a single off season can completely change a person's career. Yeah. I mean, look at Mike. Mike completely. I mean, one off season completely changed. I do think quantity wise, it's too many people. I don't think anyone likes one class taking like an hour and a half, 2 hours at the Olympia.
Yeah, it's a victim of its own success.
It is. I mean, I don't know what fix for it. I think the Olympia is having trouble with it as well, because ultimately, you have these 58 guys, and then like, it's cool to say you're an Olympian. It's cool to say you've been on the Olympia stage, but like at the same time, you spend all this time, you spend all this money to get to the Olympia, and then you're on stage for 2 minutes tops because only the top 10 really get that time at the night show. So it's a tough thing to kind of balance, and then in addition to that, I wonder too, like if all these divisions, like, we have about 58, 60, bikini, men's physique probably around the same. Yeah. What if you were able to cut that down and put more money into the prize money? Because, Jake Wood and Dan, they're paying for all the flights. They're giving us per diem per day.
A lot of people don't know
the hotel.
They don't know that.
That's thousands of dollars that could be given to the athletes that are placing in those top spots. I don't know the answer, but it's a tough thing.
From a media guy's point of view, somebody who's been working in the industry for 30 years, I understand what you're saying, but personally, when someone says, there's a lot of pros, when someone says, I've been an Olympian, and even if they've only been on stage for a couple of minutes, I'll be honest, they do sit differently in my mind. Yeah. That I'm like, oh, you've done the Olympia. Like, even if you see like somebody who doesn't place at the Olympia and you see them at a pro show, their name pops up. It gives credibility. It does.
I agree. No, I'm not saying that it should be anything lesser. I think anyone who gets the Olympia is obviously like Freddie knows all the stats. Like, it's a small percentage of people that'll ever get there. There's a small percentage of people that'll even place, top 3 at a pro show. Like in this day and age, I personally feel like we don't give enough respect to, the athletes. Like, and I've seen it personally where I went from 2nd to 6th at like way down in stock.
How did that feel?
It was definitely difficult. Yeah, it's definitely difficult because again, like 6 is still crazy impressive in my mind.
He said, like coming 5th doesn't maybe have the same, and it should.
Yeah.
Because you're still 5th best in the world. Because the Olympia is where it's like people were saying Nick Walker's back. It's like, look, he was competing last year. He's still up till a few weeks ago. He was still the New York Pro Champ. And then someone said on Instagram, it's like he was being flippant, but he said, look, no one really cares. It's what. Like, if you say you're 7th best in the world, that's because you placed 7th in Olympia.
I totally agree. Yeah, the Nate Walker hate was insane. I was like, he hasn't won a great show. I was like, he just won New York Pro last year.
Literally.
I was like, bro, he just beat the 4th place guy at the Olympia last year.
Yep.
It's tough sometimes as an athlete. Like they always say, like the fans. Their memory's very short, Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's not even a case of memory being short because he literally competed last. But the thing is, people all they care about is seeing where you really fall into the scheme of things at the Olympia, because that's the real test.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand how people now can't put Nick Walker as a. Like I think for the Open up till a few weeks ago there was 3 guys in my mind that can win the Olympia: Derek, Haddy, and Samson, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think now, because of what Nick has done, where I feel that many feel he should have won Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And beaten Derek beat Samson. I don't see how you can't include him as a 4-man race now. And then you've got people like Andrew and Martin, and
Very true. Like you said, yeah, Martin shows up perfect. Yeah, he's right in the mix again. Yeah. I totally agree. I'm a stats guy, and like based on the stats of those scorecards. Yeah. I mean, Nick did something Samson didn't even do. He tied with the champ. Samson didn't tie with him at the Arnold. I think it's crazy impressive.
And then Bob said about 8th place and stuff, and he was being flippant. The thing is that has been I know what it feels like to be taken out of context. Or somebody says something you say off the cuff and they dissect it and they blow it up, and it's like, oh guys, come on, Bob's obviously that he's got a savage sense of humor, so I feel like he's been raked over the coals a bit with that one. It's like, come on, guys, it's a jokey comment, but don't take it literally.
Don't take it too seriously. Yeah.
So I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Okay.
If you were based upon where we are right now, who do you think will be the top 6 of the Classic Olympia?
Ooh, I hate that.
So there's you and Mike. Okay, I'll be honest, right? Okay, let's just say, for example, it does shake out that you and Mike are the top 2. Mm-hmm. Either first or second, either way. Who do you think will be filling out that top 6? You're going to upset a few people now.
Yeah, I know, right?
You're going to get DMs now.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm going to be all over the Instagrams. He said this. I saw Logan put myself, him, and Mike, and he got tons of dinosaurs.
The dinosaur emojis. Yeah, the Dino. Yeah.
Man, it's tough. Like I would, I got to think of 4 guys. I may list out 5 or 6 and then kind of break it down from there because it's so many.
But you can't have 15 guys in your top 6.
I'll narrow it down after I think of the guys. It's got like Logan. I think he could be up there.
Do you think he can be top 6?
If he can put on a bit more size, like conditioning wise, he's right up there. It's just
But how close is he to the limit though?
I have no idea.
Because I've got it in my head that he's actually on the limit. But for me, I feel like because he looked. I mean, I didn't see him coming in like he did at the Arnold Classic, like Regan just did. I mean, I didn't expect him to look.
I didn't think.
And they really shocked me, and absolutely fantastic, absolutely amazing. But Logan, maybe.
If he's at the limit, I don't know. If he's got some room to grow, then for sure. The backside, for sure.
But the thing is, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm someone that really has quite strong views. Like people think that sometimes Classic is just basically bodybuilding with a weight limit, with a weight cap.
Yeah.
But I think it is and should be judged differently.
I agree. I think it is. I was actually in the first camp at first, to be honest with you. I was like, it's just bodybuilding, but obviously I feel like my placings have kind of shown something different, to be quite honest. But I would definitely say Logan, depending on if he can gain a bit more size. Ramon, I'm curious. Like, I think with Mike and Ramon, it really just depends on how they peak. I think I've said it several times. I think they're maxed out in what they can do with the weight limits. I could be wrong, but that's my personal viewpoint.
Summerfield's big.
Mike is huge.
I saw him when he turned pro in London in 2018 as a heavyweight.
Yeah,
he was doing the cartwheels on stage.
Oh, really?
And then a lot of people don't realize he was in 212.
Yeah, briefly, yeah, he was.
Yeah, and the thing is, he wasn't exactly making, big waves in the Classic for years. I mean, he's been sick. He's been around a while. He's not a new guy.
No.
And then like you said, he peaked and nailed it, and then beat Bumstead in a
polls.
He had a couple of first places.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bumstead, was arguably, the king
He is the GOAT. No, it's no argument. Yeah, for sure.
To be like a sort of just like skirting on the top 6 to like literally
battling it out with the legend,
pushing him,
more than anybody, yeah, for sure. I don't see personally. I don't see if Mike shows up on point. I don't see Urs or Ramon beating him whatsoever. Who? So what is that? There's 3. Obviously Jose. Oh my God, that's tough. So Logan would be the one that is dependent. Those 3, I'm pretty sure is going to be in the top. If I had to think of anyone else that could push into that last spot outside of Logan, it might be. I'm a really big fan of this Brazilian guy named Matheus Meneganti.
Okay.
I think his structure is like amazing. He might need a little bit more size, a little bit better conditioning. So in this offseason, we'll see. But I think he has probably the best potential.
Wow.
Coming up for sure.
I can't picture him.
Yeah, you have to see. He placed second behind Gabriel Zanca at the Texas Pro last year. I love Gabriel. I thought it could have went either way.
Is that Zagarelli, you mean? The Italian guy?
No. He's Brazilian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. See, do you know what it is? Sometimes, like, there's so much. Like I said, there's so many new guys coming in.
It's a lot.
You watch a couple of shows and with the big names, and like you almost forget about the guys that. Blew you away. They blew your mind like 2 months ago.
Yo, for sure. Especially you. You watch. Yeah.
I mean, like you'll throw names at me. I'm like, oh yeah, he's really good as well. It's like, and then your favorite. Because thing is, like I said, there's so many good new guys coming through now.
That's the thing with Classic. Because like I think this is the case with most divisions with the weight cap is because. You can only get so good, and then everyone else is going to catch up to you. It's not like bodybuilding where you can continually get better and better and better. There's no limit to how big, there's a limit because you can blow your waist out. But like, if you keep your waist tight, there's no limit to how good you can be if you keep it tight. With Classic, there is a limit because you can only put on so much weight. And say, for instance, you're near your weight cap, but you still need more hamstrings or triceps. Then you're like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So, if not him, I know everyone's saying Matt Grego. I personally like Menegachi or Logan a little bit more than Matt. Matt definitely has some crazy body parts, and it's insane to think he beat Wesley, who a year ago was beating the second place guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, you definitely got to keep him in the conversation. But in my top 4, I would say, who would I say? Urs, Ramon, possibly. Logan or Meneganti. Yeah.
Okay. What about?
I probably forgot somebody.
You're gonna get. Hey, bro, you forgot about me, and you'd be like, oh yeah, good point. But so what about any new guys that have really impressed you?
Oh yeah, for sure. The guy here local, Niall Darwin, One Punch Naz.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about him actually.
He's very impressive. The way, like usually when people have a waist as small as his, they have a really weak back or really weak legs. Like what Brian Buchanan, crazy small waist, but like his legs weren't up to par. Yeah. And
do you know I used to squat 700 pounds to the floor?
I did not know that. That's insane.
I was speaking to a photographer once, right? And he said, Giles, Giles, that guy Brian Buchanan, he said it's not because he didn't train his legs hard. He said, I've done photo shoots with him training legs. He said, and he would do 6-7 plates to the floor.
That's insane. Yeah.
And his legs just wouldn't grow like his arms did or his chest or back. It's funny though, isn't it? It's not lack of effort.
I would have never guessed that much weight.
Yeah.
So. But outside of him, there's another guy in the U.S., Austin Epsy. He's a great up-and-coming guy. I don't know how much of an up-and-comer he is anymore. He's done an Olympia now, but there's a Colombian kid who lives in Brazil, Diego. He has a crazy structure. I think his issue is he needs more size in certain places. But structurally, like when I think of potential, I think about structure more than anything else. Like if you really max out your frame, like how good you can be. And those three guys, I think if they max out their frame and if they have enough room in the weight cap, those guys structurally they beat a lot of the guys in the top 5 right now. You know.
I mean, even to make top 15 at the Olympia.
One more guy I want to mention. He's an Italian guy, Andre Mamoli.
Okay.
He's a shorter guy, but dude, like he has no weaknesses. He's young. He's a young kid. It looks insane. I'm gonna have to show you some of these guys. Like you're gonna be very.
It's crazy sometimes. And sometimes, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, when I see all these new faces popping up and you see them by themselves on Instagram, and you're like, there was someone Lauren mentioned me the other day, and I said, you said, what about this guy? He's really good. And I was like, yeah, he looks amazing. He's pitched by himself. But then I've seen him on stage next to the other guys. And you see that there's levels. It can be deceived, can't you? You can look and think, how is that guy not going to win the Olympia?
I agree.
And then they go to a show and they get like 14th in a, it's
especially with men. Like again, been in sports since the start. I've been in around the top, the entire time. And every other year, there's this new guy that's supposed to take out the champ or be top 3 or whatever, and then they fade off into obscurity over time. Because so you have to be careful with putting too much thought into I don't think you should put anything. I mean, it's cool. I'm a fan of sports, so like I look and I enjoy, but like in terms of worrying, I don't worry about anybody because you don't know.
Plus, you know what people like with filters and Photoshop. And I remember once. I know this is a completely separate issue, but I remember Kim Kardashian did an instructional video. I saw it on Instagram because people were reposting it, and she was saying how to take the perfect selfie. And she says, what you want to do is take 600 pictures or 1,000 pictures, and then what you got to do is you got to select them this way. And it was like, what, every day you were going to like, wow. And then then obviously with filters and then photoshopping and tweaking things here and there and putting like a little tint on it, sharpening it up a little bit, you could make yourself look a lot better than you are. But the thing is, I always say you can't take that to stage, so you're better off. I was talking about Jamie Johal. Like his check-in pictures he used to post, he was always in the morning, he was always flat. Mm-hmm. And then when you actually see him on stage, he was more impressive. But you never see that anymore. It's the other way around.
Yeah, for sure. And
then I saw a picture of him once, and it was this update, and it was like, wow. And he said, oh, and that was just because I trained. That was at the gym. He said, the other ones are at my house when I literally roll out of bed and go outside and take the picture on a tripod in the morning. Okay. He said, but obviously after a session, he said, I'm going to look pretty. I said, well, why don't you just post the ones where you train? He says, well, no, it's just... They're for my coach. My coach needs to see what I'm going on. He said, and I like to be transparent, and I put them up on Instagram, so it doesn't... He said, I know all that matters is what I bring to the stage anyway.
True. That's very true.
So your posing routine, if you notice on all your posts I'm putting out, who's used the Survivor, is it WW something, the Survivor track?
The Survivor, yeah.
Toronto, that to me is the one that will always stick in my mind. Mm-hmm. What can you tell us about, have you got any ideas? I mean, we're still in end of May. Have you got any ideas yet for what you want to do?
Yeah,
you do?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like my entire life, I've been very sporadic and impulsive and last minute. I don't plan things out.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
With your posing?
No. Well, no. So like, just in general, and with posing, it's been very dependent on how I feel about the music. Like, I feel like. So like for 2023, I did Enough Hope. I didn't find that song until 2 weeks out. Like I felt very uninspired with, and then I heard it and like, I'm like, okay, let me get to work. I was worried. I'm like, oh, I haven't found anything what I'm going to do for this routine. Same with, it took me a while to figure out the song for this year too. Like, we did, Ave Maria by, I forget his name, Tommy Prophet and Stanage. I still felt that time. I think I started maybe 3-4 weeks out, but I didn't figure out the end of the routine until like the week of. And the same with a lot of times I won't finish a routine to the week of the show.
Personally speaking,
yeah,
I found it when I used to compete, if I didn't do the routine like even before I started my prep.
Oh wow!
I found that if I did it 4 weeks out, the routines were always terrible.
It's a tough balance
because
for
you're
me.
too tired and you don't like the music doesn't give you shivers because you're just so tired and like I don't like when like you're in the gym and you got your music on and sometimes the music just hits.
You feel it, yeah.
You feel it and you feel like you connect with it, and obviously like the same with posing. I found that if I didn't do it at the start of the prep, as the prep wore on, I was less inspired by everything, by life.
I get that.
You just want food.
So that's kind of the issue I ran into. I didn't practice as much as I wanted to going into these shows because of that reason. But I found I didn't like to start too early because I was like, man, I don't like the way I look. I don't know. And then like I had all this extra size. I'm like, I don't know how these poses are going to look once I lean out. So I wanted to get to that sweet spot of like, okay, I'm lean enough so where I know exactly how this is going to look on stage. But then I'm still trying to figure it out. And I get to the point where, oh, crap, I'm tired. I'm not done with the routine yet, you know. So it's a tough balancing act. But with this one, obviously, we're 20 weeks out. I'm already going to stay leaner. I'm pretty happy with my body composition. So I really, really like going, like with me believing that this is going to be the one I win. I really want this routine to be very special. Found the song. I think it's very beautiful. How
much time do you get now?
We get 2 minutes, but occasionally they'll give us a little bit more time. Personally, I'm going to advocate for it here. The bodybuilders get 3 minutes. Personally, there's very few bodybuilders that, one, even do 3 minutes, or two, even want to do, like, I don't think any open bodybuilder wants to do 3 minutes, to be quite honest with you.
Thank you.
I think.
Thank you for saying that, because like what Lauren, when we were in Romania doing the commentary, the live stream, like we were waiting for the Classic guys to come on because they all had beautiful routines.
And that's the thing about Classic now. Like when I first got into bodybuilding, there was maybe three, like Cedric's, Hide doesn't get a lot of credit, but I think Hide had some good routines.
Yes.
And maybe one or two more. Oh, obviously Kai. So those three guys were beautiful routines. And when Classic started, it still wasn't great, but now like every single Classic guy usually has something that you can like, something you can appreciate, like
and the music choice as well.
The music choice, and in Classic, I don't think people would abuse the time limit. I think, especially for me, like I choose the amount of time I need to get through what I need to get through. So like usually it ends up being around anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. A lot of my songs are 2.5. The last one I did in New York was just 1 minute and 8 seconds.
Was it?
Yeah. So, like, but a lot of times I'm like, man, I have to ask. I'm like, hey, this is gonna be 30 seconds up, but please let me have it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I definitely think, one, I don't think open bodybuilders would care if they lost a minute off their routines, and two, I think Classic guys, like I've talked to Logan. I've talked to a lot of guys, and they're like, yeah, 3 minutes would be great. Logan made a joke about 5. I was like, bro, I don't need 5 minutes. 5 is too much. But
what's the longest? Obviously you've done guest posings. I mean, you're not limited, and they want you on stage probably longer. What's the longest you've ever done fully choreographed?
Around 3 minutes was the longest I've ever done. It was to a Toxic by Two-Way, like the same guys that did the Survivor song I did.
Okay.
It was about 3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the long. I think 3 minutes for me is, I'm good. It's nothing. I probably won't ever do 4 or 5.
And it's not. You're not like walking up doing the ear to the hand and most musculars. You're doing beautiful like Lila Brada type transitions and something that you can see. Like I think Cedric was a fantastic poser, but he just made it up on the spot.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it when he told me that. I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I just go and I feel it. And I was like, but I was watching you, and you were flawless, and you were doing it you weren't just posing with music, you were posing to the music.
That's the thing. So like, if you get good, like I could freestyle. Like my personal opinion is, especially he would do slower songs. Like if it's a slower song, and I know the song, I could pose to it. But personally, I think a truly great routine, you need to choreograph it. Like. Because there's certain things like with the music, like the Blinding Light song I did at the Arnold, like she talks about a clock ticking, and I would do like a ticking motion, and like you can't really freestyle that. I don't think you need to plan that out. Certain things where she says I'm feeling low, I would drop down. She says something like I'm reaching up, I would do something up while I'm looking. And like I could have posed to the music, but I probably couldn't have posed to the words in the song on the freestyle.
See, some people probably wouldn't even notice that. I was at a show once, and I was sat with someone, and this person was saying, "Have you noticed, Giles? They're actually doing what you're doing. They're actually listen to the lyrics." And I never listened to the lyrics, and they were like, I forget what it was. It was years, like 25 years ago now, and they said something. And I was like, "Oh yeah, they're actually it's actually dictating the actual posing itself." Yeah. Like I never noticed that, because some people, they just find something with. I to be honest, I despair at how some bodybuilders choose their music. I'm like, really? I mean, I love Behruz the bodybuilder, but his music choices are terrible because he's got such a beautiful physique. And I think, imagine if he had a really good routine and something that, rather than just kind of Like it's.
I agree.
You know, it's,
And
it's important.
My thing is like, I don't expect everyone to be great at posing, but I do think as a bodybuilder, it's your job to do something presentable and respectful on stage. And that's why I really appreciate it. I think it was James a couple years back. He hired that posing coach to help him with his routine. You know, Hollingshead, right? Okay. I think. Oh man, he's gonna get on my butt about it. He owns Golden Boy Posing. I can't think of his name right now, but he hired that guy to help him with his routine. I'm like, that's what a professional should do. You know, you don't need the same way you like a bodybuilder hires a coach for a diet, hires a trainer sometimes for training. If you're not good at something, find someone who is good at it and let them just take care of it for you.
I think Andrew Jacked needs a little bit of help with his posing. I mean, he knows that because I speak to him frequently. I mean, I messaged him and I said, mate, you need to go to war on those legs. And he said, Giles, let me send you something. Sent me some pictures 2 days out and his legs. It was obviously just in that last couple of days. Yeah. You know, sometimes like Wesley, like 2 weeks before, I thought he looked amazing. And then something kind of just missing when they cut down, especially when they got weight categories. Something happens and then something, you know, the legs flatten out or something flattens out and, you know, and then they kind of don't bring that best version of themselves to the stage. But I see your point. Yeah. No, if especially with posing as a bodybuilder, like even the compulsories and mandatories, it's okay not to mess it up once but like if you're messing it up, if you're posing is still an issue 2-3 years into your pro career, then what are you doing with your life? What are you like? I truly don't understand. It takes a couple of minutes, several times a week to practice it. And if you're not doing it, like, I truly believe you don't truly care about what you're doing. That's what I like about Nick Walker, because when he hits his compulsories, he gets into the pose. He doesn't do 5 different variations. He holds it. And it's almost like sometimes I've actually thought that the video's frozen. Yeah. Because he's like that, and you see other guys and they're fidgeting, and you know, I mean, it's like, it's really, so when you see something, because like the compulsories are what you're judged on. If you're not hitting them right or doing the right style for your physique, like I used to love the way that Samson did the double bicep leaning, like the Sean Roden style, and almost like the Sean Roden Victor Martinez style. And then he was in the show and he was doing the frontal bicep front on, and I said, why are you doing it like that? And he says, well, I've been told by one of the judges. He said, so I'm going to do what the judges you know. He said, but I much prefer, you look so much better in that point. He says, I think so too, Giles. He says, but unfortunately,
that's their opinion matters count a bit more.
Exactly. So I mean, obviously you said it's 20 weeks Olympia.
About 20 weeks,
20 weeks. So you excited?
I'm very excited. I've been having a lot of fun this entire year. It's been a lot of fun. Like, it's honestly, I've been really excited about it for sure.
I mean, I know you've won more pro shows as a classic than anyone. You've just had 2 back-to-back pretty big wins, you know, as big as it gets. Are you more confident? Because obviously you had a year off, and I know that you're kind of not as at the front of people's minds as much. But do you feel more confident after those wins, or were you always?
I definitely feel more confident. My confidence was depending on how these 2 shows went.
Oh, really? Know?
Because I even told my family, I was like, look, if I win these 2 shows, I'm going to buy a Airbnb and you guys are going to come to Olympia. I'm like, if I don't win both, but if I win both, and I bought literally the day after New York, I spent the money and bought it, and now they have a place, you know. Wow. I feel really good going into the shows. You know, obviously with Jose, I could have swore he placed 5th, but you said 6th. At the Olympia, you know, obviously I'm in that top range, but again, I base my belief and my confidence off of the amount of logic you can get from the sport. You know, obviously things change. Nothing's a complete science, but you know, I know the only times that I've been beaten by the guys who were placing higher is when I wasn't at my best. You know, with relationships and trying to run a business and I literally fired a coach the day before I went from 2nd to 6th. You know, I was like, so like I knew I going to the show knowing that like, okay, I'm not gonna allow anything else in the outside to affect my prep this year, knowing that I'm 12 pounds heavier than the last time I competed. And the last time I competed, I beat Mike. I placed 5th. Yeah. I was placing 5th at 169 pounds. So it's not me just saying things like just out of my butt. You know, it's just like, okay, based on the limited things I know, I have a really good shot at winning this Olympia. Yeah. You know, So yeah, I feel really, really good.
Yeah, and the thing is, you were. Is it fair to say you were 97, 98% at Pittsburgh? You were pretty much 100% at New York. I mean, I was really analyzing those videos, and I was like, okay, he's really nailed it here. He's really. Yeah. Do you think you can get? I know it's 20 weeks, but
100%. Yeah.
You think you can get better?
I was nervous at first, 100%, but like, dude, I'm again, like I watch other guys, it opened up my mind to see how much Samson improved show to show. I even messaged him, like, I don't message a lot of guys, and I was like, dude, like, you've really changed my thoughts on how much you can improve in like a short period of time. Like, last year he was competing, like, I don't know how much he competed, but like his back improved like nonstop that entire time.
Yep.
You know, and even now, like, he just started his off season 21 weeks out. I'm like, okay, if Mr. Olympia can start his off season 21 weeks out, then okay, I feel a little bit better about me starting a little growth phase going into the show. So I definitely believe it.
Nice. Right. Okay, then. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up here, Terrence. But, mate, I want to thank you for coming all this way as well, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We didn't just fly you in just to the studio. Do you know what I mean? Because I've interviewed you many times online and everything, and I've interviewed you at the Arnold Classic, and I've written articles about you, and you've always been a real gentleman, and really professional, and because the thing with the tours is, like, all the bodybuilders I've pretty much interviewed. So the ones that were prompt, polite, professional, easy to work with, you know, even just messaging back and forth, you get a feel for what, you know. So when I started doing these tours, I'm like, I'm thinking, okay, there's a list of people that automatically come to mind, and you were always one of them, you know?
Thank you.
So, so I'm really looking forward to the next few days, mate, and I think we're going to have a good time. And, and obviously, mate, it's just good to see you back, mate, and I can't wait to see you at Olympia.
Thank you. No, it's good to be back, yeah.
Okay. All right, then, guys. Well, I hope you enjoy this, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll speak to you soon. Thank you, Terrence.
Awesome.